So, my name is Franz Sidney, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, NLP coach, and RTT therapist. And I'm here today to talk about quite a few mind hacks we can use about bad patterns that we have, but we wanted to have somebody to talk with us. Normally, my work is to help clients to see what is holding them back. It doesn't have to be weight loss. It could be anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. It could be anger. It doesn't matter. I do specialize a little bit more in people who are overwhelmed and working a lot and they get really anxious. Then they might start eating or have an addiction. But we have here today a very, very special guest. And so we are a guest in the guest room now because we are in Alex Pin's page and on StreamYard, which is very exciting. Second time for me, so very excited. So I just want to say to Alex, welcome to the show that you are hosting for me.
This is a good combination. Really. Thank you for having me, on my profile and sharing it with you. So yeah.
I'm gonna be so famous now because I'm in Alex's page. I know.
This is going to be a good memory, memory, working online, how everything works around and how we are setting up the challenges, all along. Everyone thinks it just goes click, and everything works. Well, it doesn't sometimes.
Sometimes there are small issues, but the thing is, we just have to learn. And the good thing is, we had lots of tech blocks, but now we're going to talk about emotional blocks. How cool is that? That's even more interesting because Alex is like a mindset coach. You're kind of specialized in working with moms and kids, can do kids instead of can't do kids, all sorts of stuff. Now, today, we want to really focus on one aspect of what you do. It's not just all you do. So none of us are actually specialized in doing only weight loss. Not at all. We can do a wide range of things. But today we decided because we're going towards Christmas and everybody's going to go and eat a lot of food. And then you're going to feel guilty. And then in January, everybody's going to go on a diet. And then they drop in February and they give up. And then they say, I'm going to do it in summer. And then in October, they say, no, I'm not going to diet because Christmas is coming. And this is like a cycle, doesn't it? It goes back and again, and it's terrible. So I thought I would ask Alex, how can we go around these patterns and they destroy us completely? And the best thing is to start from the beginning. So Alex, just tell us who you are. I know that in your profile, everybody knows who you are. But on my profile, they have no idea. So introduce yourself and tell us where you are, because I'm Italian and you are from where?
I'm from Slovenia. Very close to Italy. Okay.
And I'm Italian.
Very close to Italy. So yeah, I live in the capital in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. So what do? I'm a best-selling children's book author. This is one thing that I do. I love stories, everything around stories and the wisdom of it. And expressing to the stories, the issues of life, and to share that wisdom with children, to actually teach them about the inner values. So everything that I do is mainly about the inner work. And this is one way that I do it with children. And on the other hand, I work with moms, because if you have a mom, and you light a candle, light a light in a mom, then you light the future. Because the mom changes, sees the world differently, and she starts to approach to herself or to a child differently. And that means, that you actually start to help, building a brighter future, because children are our future. So that's why I love to work with moms. I mainly work with their mindset, yes, as you said. So the inner work, everything what it is around thoughts, emotions, pains, blocks, how to overcome it. So yeah, I'm not a weight loss coach, but as you do, we are both dealing with the inner world. So this is something that I do, yeah. So I write books, I have lives like this, the challenges around lives, workshops, master classes. I'm preparing the whole rebranding of my work now, so that I can start globally, and share all the things that I've been learning with moms for the last 10 years. So I'm super, super excited. I'm a mom also of a teen. So everything that I do started 10 years ago, more intensively, when my son came to me, and he was 4 at that age. And he said, Mom, there is someone in my head telling me that I'm not good enough. And that was awakening in one way for me. I just realized there's those thoughts. I know them. I really know them. What are they doing here inside me? So I started to ask myself, how can I help a child? So I started to help him, helped moms, helped myself. Otherwise, I could not do it. So yeah, now I'm mainly just so thrilled, and so excited to helping moms on their journey to finding their inner wow, as I said.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great introduction. So we have like a 3D idea of what you do now. So how do you actually help people who are trying to get fit and better with a weight? I'm not saying thin, but just feeling better with the body. How do you help them? Do you specialize with women?
I work with mom, yeah, so that
Hmm.
they feel better, so that they find their inner love, acceptance, self-love.
Right.
That is also connected with weight loss issues, here and there. We all have, our thoughts when we look at into the mirror, the body changes and everything. And yeah, we know how it is.
We
So
are
yes,
terrible.
as I said, I'm not specialized, in weight loss, but this comes along because it's a part of the process. And if you really want to feel great in your life, one part of this is also accepting who you are, and that part is accepting your body. you know
Hmm.
Even if one block, here and there comes around when we say, you probably know this one, I'm fine, I'm fine, but inside it's just
There's a
but
tempest.
yeah. But we say it, in a cool way. No, 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 I'm fine. It's okay. If I have some pounds and kilos, up, no, I'm fine. But sometimes we need to dig in, because this I'm fine is actually a sentence I'm not
Mhm.
okay with myself.
Yeah, and this really leads to my second question, which is why do you think it's vital to do this inner work? Isn't just enough to get a dietitian and have a list of foods and get on? Why do we have to work inside first?
Good question. I think that my answer to you, it would be like, if you have a house and a garden, you always just call the gardener to fix your garden, so everything outside is fixed and it's okay and it looks beautiful, but
Mhm.
inside, you know what I mean, we have to clean it up, otherwise it's a mess. It's the same, if you want the long-term results, if you really want to feel the beauty from within, and your body reflects, and if you want to have stable weight, so that is consistent through the years, it's not jumping up and down with, I don't know, 10 kilos up and 10 kilos down, that's also a damage for a body. So if you want to
Mm.
have a consistent weight, then you have to find yourself, and that's inner work. It's the same, it's not enough you are just gardening outside and fixing everything outside your house. You
Mhm.
have to go inside and clean the kitchen, clean the bathroom. It's the same with
Mm.
our inner world.
So you do have this like mind and body connection. And in your experience, when we talk about just commonly weight loss, what do you see is the most common type of blocks that you see in the moms that you work with?
Here and there always comes around that negative body image. Negative body
Mhm.
image, it just flows out. This is the one thing that I see very, very often. How do we see our body? How do we see ourselves? And to this is connected our self perception, self worth. Is it positive or negative? So these two almost dance together, as I say. And then is the next very, very big indicator for the weight loss that I've seen during the last years with moms, and also in my life with me. Here is where I find myself, is stress, because some of the moms eat a lot when they're under stress, some of
Right?
them they don't. So
Where's my
stress is one
chocolate?
of those
Let me get my
indicators.
chocolate and check.
Yeah, I'm the one like that, chocolate,
Oh no, I gotta get some
running
chocolate.
around.
Here's my roast chicken. But it does happen, doesn't it? We get stressed and we need something. So I have clients that might reach to the cigarettes, and others might start drinking a little bit too much. And then other people will reach for comfort in food, some of them because when they were younger, they had these wonderful memories, good parties with parents, grandparents, eating lots of nice food, and you have this nice warm feeling, oh, I'm so happy. And then later on, they have an anchor set up. And when they're
Mm-hmm.
feeling down, their subconscious mind remember when you were young, you had such a good time with mommy and daddy, with all your brothers and sisters, with all this lovely sweet food or lots of savory, rich food. And if you have the food, you're gonna fire your anchor again. You're gonna feel good. And it only lasts 30 seconds because after you swallow it, you have the pang of guilt. And then because you feel guilty, like, well, I screwed up now, I might as well take another one.
If I'm already here, let's do it once again.
And just that's the 10th of January, when you have a whole year.
Yeah, that's how it goes usually, and
That's how
then,
we
it
go.
feels good. And then, that guilt comes around, as you said. I call this inner blocks, inner, let's say, mental and emotional issues. I call them badgers because it's funnier because of the story. And, I've set up a method
Yeah,
about that.
great.
So yeah, these are all badgers in my language,
So
in my
badgers. So guys,
perception.
you guys didn't know, but we have a zoo inside. And that's our ego state. That's the one that is running the show. It's a badger. So we can we can safely say if something is missing from a sweet cupboard or from a fridge, you said, it's the badger in me. It wasn't me. I'm just sitting here. He
Yeah,
went.
yeah, but that's one way. But if we go further, we have 5 badger pillars. Everyone has a badger, also me and you. The second one is badger is always then all these negative thoughts, or regarding to negative body image, regarding to negative self-perception, or dealing with stress, the negative thoughts and emotions that come, or
Mm,
let's say negative thinking. Okay, all of them have the same common thing. That's thoughts, emotion. That's actually energy. So the second badger pillar is the badger, those thoughts are always telling you that you're not good enough, you're guilty, or those negative. The third pillar is everyone feeds, we are thinking these thoughts. We are, thinking and thinking. We are choosing to think them. So we are feeding that. So it's actually that thought process, that emotional or mental issue is growing then. More we think about them, they are stronger. That's why we feel or more depressed, or we are creating our bigger negative, self-image or self-perception. The
yeah.
stress is getting bigger, the depression is getting bigger, we are getting weight, so we are the one. So it's not just, the badger is the one who is saying that to me. If you
Correct.
want to have, a life full of self-responsibility, this is we are creating, we are the ones who are doing
Mm.
everything to us in life. That's why inner work. So yeah, it's a process, realizing that I'm the one who's choosing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nobody there pointing a gun and say, you really must open the fridge now. No, it's as we go. And this is kind of an automated pattern of behavior. It's so familiar. When we're feeling down, we reach for whatever. It could be lots of things. And that's automatic and it keeps repeating. And then when we're thinking consciously, why do I do that? I cannot
Mm-hmm.
stop. And so there are pattern interrupts techniques. There are lots of ways of stopping this and distraction techniques. And I don't know, did you want to talk about your next question and go to the negative body image, or did you
Yeah.
want to, yeah, because that's something that
Yeah,
really,
because I think it's very important,
yeah,
especially
it's
with
very
those
connected, isn't
affirmations.
it?
And
But what
yeah.
what what happens then, Alex, when a woman in the morning washes herself, getting dressed, and goes in front of a mirror and she sees something? What happens? I mean, and there is all this connection with media and Instagram and what we see. What is this tempest that we were talking about? Tell me more about it.
I think
I'm
we all
curious.
know how it goes.
I
Every
know.
one of us functions a little bit different, but usually the emotions appear. It probably, I don't know, resentment, I don't know, hatred to some of them. to some of them, that bad feeling, sad feeling, this is one way. So emotions. On the other hand, thoughts with those emotions appear, and images, how I look, how I should look, blaming ourselves. And this goes so fast in our minds, so fast. It's just, as you said before so beautifully, it's just automatic, and it's unconscious, it's automatic, and we think it's our real reality. But someone can come, a partner can come, and it can say to us, you look so beautiful. But if we are in this inner automatical program, as we can say it also,
It is.
mental
Yeah.
block or a badger, let's
Yeah.
say it's a program, we cannot accept it.
Yeah.
And if someone says something nice to us, the resentment comes, just no. And in one way, one part of us wants to stay in this. And if we are staying in this, we are suffering then.
Yeah.
And this is not self-love. And probably everyone can find, in some kind of way, ourselves in this, because yeah, we see all the beautiful women outside. Even we have beautiful campaigns with women, who have more kilos or something like that. Or you can see, I really I adore going to different cultures, let's say, and watching women how they go proudly. Even their butt is a little bit bigger, and everything is just, but they walk so beautifully. And I'm usually like, wow, I would like to be so confident about my body. It doesn't matter, my weight, So it's just self-perception, self-love. And yeah, when we find ourselves in this, let's say, body negative image, self-image, it's actually negative thoughts plus negative emotions. Everyone would say, how do I get out of that? I would like to feel beautiful with my body. I would like to enjoy with my body, life and everything, the clothes that I wear. I just want to be free. So how do we do it? Would probably the
Exactly. There is
next
somebody
question.
that is asking where we are.
Okay.
And so I'm just reply. If you go to my profile, I put
We
a
are there.
link
Yes, I will
there.
check also.
You want to do that because some people do not know, see? And I just wanted
Yes,
to,
we are here. And I will also go to
yes,
your profile to check if
yes.
we are seen there.
It says Alex is live. So if I now do share,
Yes,
copy link,
I can
and
see you. Yes, I can
yes,
see the shared post on
yeah,
your profile. So it is. And I'm also saying hi to everyone who's watching us.
yes.
You can add a comment below. We are going to be very, very happy with Franz. And yes, I'm.
That,
No, Franz is hosting me. So the ones who are joining us
yes.
in the live. And we are talking about 5 emotional blocks that are, here and there on our path when we are
There
trying
we
to
go.
lose our weight.
I think I put enough of them. It just one of those. I wanted to make sure that is all done. So I'm just going to go back to my Facebook now so I can see
Okay.
where we are. It was impossible to, there we go. It's just a little bit hard to do everything. Right, there we go.
But we are managing
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, because I have this video there, the iPad there, and we want to make sure everybody is able to see this. And as I said to the people when I was sharing this, I said, it could be that you're now working or you're traveling. Make sure you send us questions. So at some point we will be able to answer. So even if you don't get to watch a video right now, you can always put those questions under the post I put, and then we will reply in writing, because now we are covering as much as possible because we want to give you something that is worth it, something that really helps you to tackle these issues. And it's not just about weight loss, because a lot of these patterns are connected to many other issues that we can have. So you can apply the same principles, can't you, Alex, to lots of
Yes.
different situations in life. This automatic behavior when people trigger us, they make us feel upset. Do they make us feel, or am I choosing how I feel? It's so important. So feel free to go. So you talked about negative body image. I do know that we get so familiar with these images that are on the media, and we imagine that these women are amazing, they're beautiful, they have this flawless skin and everything. And we keep forgetting that these women, first of all, the women that are absolutely beautiful with no makeup or anything are like maybe 1%. So this is not a representation of a normal woman, right? Most women are not like that. That's just an exception. But
Yes.
then, even when they are beautiful, when you go in front of a camera or television, you will automatically look washed out. So these people have makeup, and a lot of it, they have Photoshop workers, people who are editing on Photoshop, and they're removing and brushing out so much that you can't really tell what she looks like anymore. Yeah. So when you see this high arena, when we see these perfect images, and then in the morning, we go to the bathroom, wash our face, and we see, oh my gosh, I can see my pores. I have a hair there. We see all these so called imperfections, but these are not imperfections. These are part of a normal body. But because we keep
Mm.
looking at these polished and glamorous magazines and Instagram and Facebook, we think, oh yeah, look at these perfect images. So I think that's very depressive for a woman over 20 who start thinking that she's already too old, too fat, too anything. I'm not saying that we should all be very, very fat and very proud to be fat, because there's something to be proud of. It's just a phase of our life. But these comparisons are not very good. And a lot of people I talk to, doesn't matter if I have weight loss issues or fitness issues, but they have these patterns like that. And they have
Mm.
this issue that they don't believe in themselves at all because of something that happened 5 years ago. They heard one sentence and that was it. And maybe at school they were bullied many years ago, or maybe their parents they did something without meaning, because most parents are trying their best. So it's not to criticize the parents. I make lots of mistakes, but parents sometimes make little comparisons and they try to push you to be your best, and you think, I'm never gonna be good enough. I'm never going to measure. And so the lower the standards, thinking I'm just not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And then this makes them feel lower and lower, doesn't it? And then
Yes.
eventually they have to turn to something because they're feeling they're not getting their personality out, because they don't, I can never apply to this job because I'm not young and beautiful, I'm not smart enough. And so it's a very serious problem. And I think the men don't have exactly the same problem. Maybe men, they look better if they
They
have
do
muscle.
have, they do
Yeah,
have. Maybe a bit
yeah, but they
different,
don't
but
look at all the
in my experience, they do have,
they
for
experience
those
a
with
different
high
thing,
work.
don't they? Because they don't have all
Mm.
these makeup issues. Most men don't have a pore problem, like, oh, my pores cannot show. Men, if they just want to go on video, they go on video. A woman is like 10 hours preparing and all this stuff. They're a little bit, I mean, a man has a rougher skin, it's a tough skin. It's just gonna look better. And he doesn't care, he just goes there unshaven, and they still look quite amazing. But women, we think that we have to look 20-year-old, thin and smooth.
That's
We're not
that's
babies.
that perception in us, to be perfect, or as good as we can be in that moment. It just we are just craving for that, and that's
Yeah,
why then we are dealing with all that
I know.
things that are happening with that, which you explained so beautifully.
Well, because I know, because I'm a woman. I go mirror right there. That tells me,
Sometimes, I was walking, like that.
oh,
When
terrible, terrible.
yes,
We are our
especially
worst
outside on
enemy.
the street, I was, oh no, okay, yes, I had really issues with myself.
Yeah. So this is a real problem, guys. It doesn't just affect one person. It affects hundreds and hundreds of women everywhere, maybe thousands. And how can we change this negative body image? Is there a trick that you have? What would you do?
I think that everyone mainly heard about the affirmations or speaking to themselves, in front of mirror when we can. Okay. And the first time, it is my experience, and a lot of moms that I've worked with experienced the same.
Mm.
So they told me, tell yourself the affirmation that you're beautiful, that you accept your body. I could not do it.
No?
I see now that there are different moms with different intensive, yes, with different intensive negative self-image. Is it very, very intensive? For those who have really very intense self-negative image, they cannot accept the thought, the affirmation when they are saying they
Mm.
don't feel it. It's
Mm.
strange, it's odd, or they hate it. So this is something that was happening with me, but that is for those who really have that intensive, low, negative self-body image or self-worth. When you
Mm.
start to do, I'm explaining this so that you can understand it. What is happening? When you understand it, then you will get a chance to go smoother through the process, because understanding is one way of unconditional love. When you understand it, you then already try to accept and are on the process of accepting that negative self-image. Then is in, let's say, if you have a middle strong negative self-image, self-perception,
Mm.
at that point, if you say, I'm okay, you can say it to yourself. You can accept it. And when you are, doing the affirmation, I'm okay, then you can add, okay, my nose is okay. You find on your body one part which you really like, because I don't know, I like my hands and I like my eyes. This is something how I started. In the beginning, I could not say I love myself, which is here. So I've lowered this to I'm okay. I started like that, really. And I was repeating this because this is something I could accept. This is the work
Yeah.
with affirmations. If you cannot say to yourself, I love myself, I really, like I can do it now, I could not do it. And I hated those who could say that, and I've seen this process with women. Then you go
Mm.
and lower that with the thought you can find what is acceptable for you. That's a one step better than I'm nothing, I will never do that. No, if you said I'm okay and repeat this on a daily basis for merely 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if you've been for 20 years in, let's say, negative body image, it won't happen like this. It cannot, because this part is so big because you were feeding it. It's like every negative thought or emotion is like a stone, and you put it into a box of negative self-image. So it's a big box of stones.
With
And
this.
now you say, I love myself. It's just, you cannot. So that's why you have to be consistent. And that's why I'm explaining this process so that you can understand it if it happens to you. That when you say to yourself, I love myself, I'm okay, I really love my body, if you cannot say it, then just lower it with I'm okay, and then repeat this, and then add it. If you cannot say it in front of the mirror, it's okay. Wait, it will be step 5 or 6. You add step 2 now. So my eyes are okay. I love my eyes. I love, I don't know, my ears. I love my nails. Something it is on your body what you love, what you or like, or is okay. These are everything positive affirmations. So you are just stepping up. And if you're doing this, but really 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I always say it's a process of changing, or emptying this big box of stones of negative self perception. You just go. And then maybe on a step 5, you can come in front of the mirror and say, if you cannot say, I love myself, if that resentment inside, that hatred or an anger appears, it doesn't matter. That should appear. Everything what is happening inside, say hatred, the negative thoughts, that should appear in the process because you are changing. Your part is sticking to that affirmation. And in step 3, you will start to feel it. At step 5, you will start to feel it more and come in front of the mirror and say, okay, every day for 5 minutes, set up the clock for 5 minutes. I'm going to maybe just look myself. You don't need to talk in the beginning, or just look and say, oh, this is nice. This is that I love. And this, so that it's just finding from step to step a solution that you are positive and that you are giving yourself a positive affirmation as you can accept that one, which one you can accept. And
Mhm.
if you're doing this, and in the end, you will 100% come to a part when you will be able, it will happen. It really happens right away. It happens just like this. Then, when you just say, I really love myself, and you can see it on the face that you mean it, and someone can really feel it, and you feel it, but it's a process. I know because I've really done this for years, working on myself, especially regarding to, this negative body image and affirmations with that. But you have to be persistent every day.
Yeah.
You just have a chance. Or negative thoughts, will they help you? Will you feel better? No. So don't go that direction. Positive thought, positive thought, positive thought.
It is so true. I'm just looking at the messages. So we wanted to say hi. We have Andrew there, and I can see Belinda. So hello, Belinda. Hello, Andrew. And there's Irena. I don't know how to say. So yeah, we already say hello to her. The media doesn't help at all, say Belinda. Having good friends can really help. I'm so glad I finally saw these comments because before I didn't realize there were any comments. And yeah, the media are, not helpful. Why are they not helpful? Because they tend to focus on the negative. When you see these wonderful, beautiful actresses, they go out on the red carpet, they go out for a walk. I mean, the royalties, they go out, and the media like, oh, other they say, Sarah, with a stunning dress showing her glorious body. So you feel like, oh my gosh, why do they have to focus on the dress of a woman? But when they talk about men, they're not talking about the dress at all. And then, if a woman has anything out of place, they'll pick up on that. Like Angelina Jolie was out a couple of days ago with a stunning dress. Nobody talked about the dress. They all talked about the fact that her hair extension was coming out. It was not properly made. And they're like, oh, for 4 days, I couldn't think of anything else. Guys, do we have a life? Are we spending so much time just criticizing the celebrities? Do you have a life? Because I have a life. I just couldn't be bothered to spend all this time picking everything wrong. But we are so critical in the society. We're
Mm.
picking, oh, look, she got a stray hair. She got the shape here are not right. I mean, why do we have? That's why I think women of a certain age, which is it was 60, now it's going to 50 and 40, Botox, injections, transplants, surgery, multiple surgeries. I mean, Madonna has been redone so many times because they cannot afford to age. We can't afford to age. How is that possible? We cannot. So it's not just about eating, it's how we perceive our body so important. So this could go really, really well, really bad.
Yes, we can
So
go
we have to
for
be
weeks
careful.
talking about, we can have a Syria
We could
of
just really
lies.
talk about this, but it can be very toxic how we talk to ourselves.
Yes, Irina
Because
said it very
we
nicely. We can always choose what we read, watch, and listen. Yes, it's
exactly.
true.
But we believe what we say and we believe what we think. Yeah. And so if we are the worst critics of ourselves, where are we gonna be in the future? That's so important. But let's move on a little bit. Otherwise we're gonna be here until dinner and then my
Yes,
daughter is
and my
gonna come
friends are
to
coming
what?
soon to my place and I'm
We
having
want
dinner.
some
So,
lunch here
yeah,
at
they're going to
dinner.
ring, I think, in 10
Yeah.
minutes.
So let's go back to stress triggers because a lot of people just realize that, when I'm stressed, I eat. Or when I'm stressed, I automatically do something. So how can you help yourself when you are triggered by stress? I feel like, they make me do this. What would you do? Would you suggest?
I say It's always okay. It's not a problem and or an issue if you go and eat a chocolate. The problem becomes, when you realize that you're doing this again and again and again and again and again, and that you cannot stop.
Mm.
But if you take this and a chocolate here and there, it's not a problem. Everything has to
Not
be in a balance in one way. So, but when you see that, you say to yourself, no, I won't eat a chocolate, and something starts inside of you, it's just
a beast.
teasing you.
It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, those white spots coming. It's just, something squeeze you inside, everything. We know how it is. That
Mm.
is also an indicator that we have a problem with the um, cortisol. Is it in an English word? The
Cortisol.
hormone. Yes, thank you. We have that problem also, cortisol. So you would have to Google it a little bit. I won't go into this now because we
It's a
really
stress
can't then
hormone.
speak. Yeah. So, and then, it's just becoming bigger and bigger. So it's an issue also in the body. So when we are changing in more levels, an emotional level, mental level, and physical also. That's why you feel it.
Mm.
Okay. And the hormones and everything. So it's just starting to being aware of what is happening. And the process
Mhm.
with stress, it is that we have to build our inner pillar, as I said. It's an inner pillar of calmness. It's our inner pillar connected to self-love, self-respect. It's a feeling of good energy, because when we are under stress, we feel that lack, that emptiness inside of us, and we try to fill that in. But what is actually missing? Is the food missing? Are we really hungry as we are hungry? Or some other parts are hungry inside of us, but about what? So that's an inner work then. Something that works also beautifully is the work that you do, the hypnosis. I know that you do that. Great, great, beautiful Melissa Peer hypnosis. I would like to go also and do the course also about that. So this is one way, you find a solution, you find help if you cannot do it by yourself. It's always, okay. And it's self love when
Mm.
you go and ask for help. That's actually giving love to yourself. So, this is
Yes.
something that I would really like every moment to really remember, those who are watching us and will watch us in the replay. If you have an inner issue and you feel that you cannot do it by yourself, that's okay. Asking for help is actually asking for, self love. That's self love. So that we change that process also. But stress is like, when you squeeze the orange. I love that metaphor from Wayne Dyer. When you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice, because it's inside. But when life in stress situations squeezes us, it also goes out something what is in our inner world. Is it anger? You know, being impatient, unkind to yourself or to others. So is it nervousness? So what is going inside? What is happening inside of you? So in that moment of stress, which is actually squeezing you, that it's coming out your inner world. It should go out, and you have a choice. I know this is not so hard. That it's not easy. It is hard, but you have a choice to calm down. Everyone is saying, breathe in, breathe out, because then you become aware and you make that space inside of you so that you can build your consciousness, start to build the calmness inside of you. And there are many tricks regarding to food also. Or I don't know, you start to breathe. If it helps you, you can start to breathe by touching yourself, because touch helps us. You breathe in, you breathe out, and you have 5 fingers. That's actually 10 seconds of breathing. You make that space inside of you, and that space is very important, so that you start to build your inner self, which becomes slowly stronger and stronger, and you become a very resentment, yes, and more calmer to the stress that is happening inside
Yeah.
of you. It's It's a training, it's a fitness, emotional, mental fitness of consciousness, we can also say.
It's a gym. I think one of the most important things is to ask yourself when you're reaching for that cake, the piece of cheese, the cigarette, ask yourself, how am I feeling? And what am I trying to get? What feeling am I trying to achieve by doing this action? Then think, how else can I create that feeling? How
Yes,
else?
beautiful.
Once you create this diversion, you're not putting as much energy in that anymore. You're thinking, actually, I'm aware, because understanding is power. When you understand what's actually going on, oh, I'm feeling low. So if I want to feel high, is this bunch of molecules gonna make me feel high? Is this pill, drug, alcohol, cigarette, or ice cream gonna make me feel great for the rest of the day? No. It's gonna be great in the anticipation while you get it. Then as you eat, you're like, this is so good. You have a dopamine, right? As soon as it goes down, either you take more or you're gonna be back to the exact feeling that you had. So always seek for that feeling and say, why am I searching for
Yes.
this? What need am I trying to fulfill with something material? Because all the needs are not material. Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. Let's go to the next one because we know there is dinner coming on. So trauma.
Food
Let's
is
talk about
coming.
trauma. Yeah, I know you wanted to share at least one story because a lot of people have experienced some kind of trauma. We had to put a disclaimer here. We are not trauma specialists, we're not PTSD specialists, but a lot of patients come in for something and then realize they were traumatized. Another explanation is that trauma is not the event, so being in the Rwanda genocide. No, trauma is the perception and meaning that you attach to the event. So you can be traumatized simply because the teacher spotted you talking and calls your name and said, Jenny, wait, you are talking and you're going to be out of a class. And that can traumatize you for the next 20 years. She hasn't even touched you. Or you might have a really bad thing happening to you, but because you were like a soldier or you were a fighter, you're like, and you shrug it off and off you go. That's why when you come back from Afghanistan, all the soldiers, some have very deep PTSD and some are like, yep, just going to get on with life. Same events, same deep, I've seen people being in a bad state and your friends dying, but some people don't have PTSD. So it's the perception. Having said that, now we can introduce the topic safely. You have worked with people who had trauma, and then you realize that this trauma was part of the reason why today their eating patterns are not right. Did you want to share something about this?
You said it so perfectly and explained everything, so I won't go in that part. Maybe just how can you get out? And I've mentioned it before. When you see that you are in circles, some kind of circles, and you really can't get out, find yourself a help. Maybe in one point that can be a friend. But if you really, really want to unchain those blocks and traumas that are just repeating and repeating, and especially we find them, especially us women, we find them when we become moms. Sometimes children, press on those buttons, which are actually in one way connected to our inner world, our past. That's why I always say we first parent ourselves in every situation. Regarding to food also, we are our own trainers, we are our own coaches in that moment. Or we are adults, we don't have, we have a parent, but it's different. So who is going to parent us? It's us who are going to parent ourselves. So yeah, if you cannot find a way, there are a lot of books, there are a lot of YouTube, videos you can watch. Go and find your path, because I'm not right for everyone. You are not right for everyone. It's good that we talk. If you feel, and felt that, oh, maybe Franz can help me, go and listen to that feeling. You know, your inner voice will show you which person is the right one for you, who can help you get out of that. It's not a problem. It's not an issue if you would like to get out. You know, we all would like to get rid of those blockages, traumas we have. We want to be free of that. We want freedom, what is actually self-love, you know, joy. And we have that in us, and we have to find the way. That's to build a new self that is going to feel that. And sometimes we cannot do it alone. And it's good that we have a lot of therapists, a lot of people, coaches, you know, different profiles, everyone, you know, we are not the same as in nature. You know, the trees are not the same. Everything, if you go, you know, into the forest, you know, everyone is different. Also, we are different, but we are all growing every day and facing and have the chance every day
Yeah.
to unchain that. So go and find yourself help. Maybe journaling is one way, you know, affirmations, meditations, having a coach, reading a book, drawing, or I don't know, coloring mandalas. Is just go and find your path, because that's the path on which you will find yourself.
Yeah, sorry, but it was a little noise when we're talking. I'm just gonna
Not, not, yeah, it's
quit
beeping
this.
here
It doesn't
also.
make a. There's somebody wanted to join, but they were late and they were working, so that's fine. But yeah, and I know that these people were working and they can join us later on and watch, send messages, so that's gonna be fine. Well, thank you. That's very good. You know, the journal also is very good. It's this idea is sometimes we are 20 years, 30 years, and the problem is still there. And we think, well, I was always fat, I'm going to always be fat. Well, actually, no, because we're not born like that. We're born most of the times, we're born pretty much normal, you know? They might have a defect somewhere, but most people are not born fat. So this is one of his mindsets that makes it impossible to get better. If you say, right, I'm not going to seek for help, I'm going to find a nutritionist, a dietitian, a book, suddenly you just step outside. As you step outside of yourself and start looking from outside of a situation, you think, actually, I can get better. I can have some improvements here. And as you step out, you're putting the energy in something new and strong and pure and good, because you know the universe wants to support us to do this, you know, to be aligned with our powerful, immense potential that we all have. Most people don't think so. Oh, I'm just a slob. I'm just they put themselves down. But if you start thinking of yourself as a child of this beautiful universe, like a star, like you're supposed to shine. And the way to shine is to come out of the little shell and start talking. And guess what? As soon as you go outside, you're going to realize that a lot of people have problems way bigger than yours. And in the share collective, everyone has some sort of challenges. You're not the only person, but not everyone has challenges. Goes to smoking, eating, or drugs, or abuse, or violence. So there must be another way of dealing. So you can just find the new way. And sometimes a therapist helps, a hypnotherapy can help, a coach can help, sometimes just a friend. It doesn't matter. You just have to get started. Once you get started, the energy is there. And because you are looking for it, your reticular activating system, the RAS, that is part of your brain that filters out all the rubbish every day, because we receive every day kind of like 70 million bits of information per minute. It's too much. So we have to filter everything and just look at what we are focused on. Otherwise, our brain would explode. And so every day we don't notice things. But as soon as you make this conscious choice, say, right, I'm going to tackle this issue, your RAS will activate and will start looking for those things to prove that you're right. So if you say, I'm fat and I'm always being fat, the RAS will help you to confirm that. Oh, my uncle was fat, my grandmother was fat. We have to eat. Otherwise, I was a big families of Italian. We have to eat. Otherwise, we're not going to be accepted. That's how we are. We cannot change it, right? But as we change that, like if you go outside in the traffic and then you come back and I say, how many red cars were there? You're going to look at me like, I have no idea. But if I send you out in the traffic and said, find me as many red cars, you're going to come back to 25 red cars because you were looking for them, you found
Hmm.
them. And so your RAS helps you to find what you're looking for because that's where the energy goes, where you focus on. So if you're
Yes.
looking for a way to get something solved, then suddenly it pops out from everywhere. And you're like, oh, yeah, there it is. It's just amazing how this energy goes from your brain and then it starts to kind of evaporate.
Yeah, you are Wi-Fi, router, is
It
you're
goes
spreading
there
that, so it
and
comes
send
back.
this. Yeah, it's like Joe Dispenza stuff, all this vibration in the
Hmm.
quantum. I don't know how this is. I mean, literally, yesterday I was walking from my house and I said, it would be so nice if this house was used for a movie. Just a boring British bungalow. Literally, today, as soon as I turn on my iPad, the first thing that came out, the first was an advert for, did you want to use your house for a movie that we can, for £75 a year? Okay, I was like, wow, I've never seen an advert. I was like, that is such a good, be called for this. And think about the beautiful thing that happens when you think, wow, I watched this. Now I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I know this is going on with me. I want to do something about this. As soon as you start thinking about it and talk about it, your husband, your uh, people around, things start popping up. There's a new group on Facebook, there's a group down the road. You start getting this fun, you get more energy, then you can get the support and the therapist or the support group or your friend. So these patterns of thinking that you were talking about are so important because we make all these blanket statements. I can never do this. Let's close with that, because you already talk about I'm just fine. But your question number 9 was this: when you make blanket statements. For me,
Negative thinking, yeah.
it's impossible to lose weight. I can never lose weight.
My
And I feel
body
like,
is, compared to others, look how I look how
look
she
at
looks.
me. Look at me. I mean, look at her. I can never be like her. You just have to be you. So, is there a way we can change this pattern? What would you do?
You already mentioned it,
I
Joe
know, but I just want a
Dispenza,
last tip.
rewiring and
One quick
everything.
tip. One quick tip.
Red cars.
The red car, yes. So diversion,
Yeah,
is
it
that your
goes.
big thing that you do? Yeah.
Something like that. It's just
Yes.
first is that being aware that this is a negative thought and it will appear, and you have a choice or to
Yes.
wire that again. And so Dispenza says, if you're in that pattern, that program, you feed that. That's also already automatic. But coming
Mhm.
out of that is like, go outside and see red cars if you haven't seen them before. And it's going to be unpleasant. Okay, it's going to be unpleasant during the process because the old structure, I'm fat, I will never lose weight, that's an old belief on mental level, emotional level, and connected, where our brains, that's also. So
Yeah.
it's in different levels. And when you start to create a new belief, you won't feel it in the beginning, you know, it's not going to be pleasant. It doesn't matter. If you have that desire, if you have chosen and decided, I'm going to do that, that is that what gives you the energy. This is old energy. Then your decision is new energy, alignment, whatever we call it. It's
Mhm.
actually a new energy. That's why when we decide, we go and do it. And we start, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 days. That's okay. And then the resentment comes, the unpleasantment comes. It should come because this
Yeah. Persistent.
structure, is rewiring and you are wiring a new one. You
Yes.
have to be persistent and just negative thoughts change to positive thought and add the emotion to that thought. And yes, everyone says, you have that burning desire to go to that. So
Yeah.
decision, or you have to be hungry for your, if we are talking about, let's say, weight loss, about your new body, because you are creating. That's when you realize that you are actually the one who is not losing weight, but you are, creating your new self, your new body, your new thoughts, emotion, when you realize that you are the creation of yourself, it's just, wow, I can create this. It doesn't matter what kind of negative mental issues, emotional issues you had, they are those who are helping you and showing you what you can do on the other side. But you're the one who are choosing. You go outside and choose
Yeah.
which cars you would like to see. And you have to train every day. And
Yeah.
then becomes this new reality.
Yeah.
Inner work.
I think it's correct because most people can change. There are some issues that sometimes we even have coaching and we're still there. When we see that we done the work, we done the inner work, we read the books and everything, and it's still not shifting, there is this self sabotage, there is the inner resistance. That's when you go to a therapist and you say, right, there is some blockage.
You need someone to
Help me
unblock you,
to find out
Yes.
what it
Yeah.
is. And then the therapist is skilled and will guide you. But the healing person is not the therapist, it's you. So we just help people to understand this is what's going on. Once you shed the light, then the whole world that we built up with all these rationalizations of why this cannot happen, this is difficult. We're so resistant to change. But sometimes we are resistant for a very reason because we put together this idea of ourselves. We have our identity. I am like that. And as long as I'm ill with this illness and I have this problem, I'm going to have something. There's a secondary gain that subconsciously we don't know about, but it's giving us something. Maybe attention, maybe it's a shield, maybe it's a protection. Some people who have been abused because they are very pretty, now they want to be very, very large so they cannot be abused. Some people they couldn't speak up because they were small. Now they're putting on weight, they have a shield. Now they can speak up. I am big, so you're not gonna fight me because I can crush you. So I had clients like that. So that's when you go to a therapist and say, right, it's deeply seated, nothing can remove it. And the affirmations are not working. So there's something deeper. How do I access the subconscious mind? And then that's why you use hypnosis and things like that. Thank you for being here, and we're gonna see you next time. Take care, everyone. And Alex, your turn to say bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Franz. It was really beautiful to talk to you, and just to both of us were adding, and it's beautiful. It would be lovely to do, okay, more lives like that. So, yeah, we are happy to read all your comments that you will also share with us, your thoughts, questions that you have. Yes, me and Franz are going to be happy to write you the answers, and give you some support on the way when you are growing to your wowness, your inner wowness. And yes, it was a really, really beautiful evening. Thank you for everyone who was with us, all the time watching us and giving us the support in comments.
Well done.
Yeah, bye bye to everyone.
So take care.